Everybody's journey is individual. You don't know with whom you're going to fall in love. If you fall in love with a boy, you fall in love with a boy. The fact that many Americans consider it a disease says more about them than it does about homosexuality. This quote is from creative writer James Baldwin in an interview with Eve Auchincloss and Nancy Lynch in 1967, Romero 2017. Now, the organization I will be talking about today went by an old name, the Kalamazoo Gay and Lesbian Resource Center, but it's now known as Outfront Kalamazoo, and they have been helping people of the LGBTQ+ community for over 30 years. Historically, the rights of the LGBTQ community have kind of been non-existent. I mean, literally only in 2015 was gay marriage legalized in the United States. And even though with time we have come a long way with more rights for the LGBTQ community, there's still much work that is needed to be done. In my own past, I remember when I was a child, I had been playing with Barbie dolls, and I had set up this grand wedding. And instead of Barbie marrying Ken, though, it was Barbie marrying her friend, Teresa. And I had them in beautiful gowns, I had everything set up, and right before I was going to have them be married together, my mom came in and scolded me for days. And I just grew up feeling ashamed of myself and my ideas and my beliefs because it wasn't what my parents believed. And it really was kind of damaging. And I'm not the only person who has experienced stories like this, or even, more difficult things than just that. For example, just looking around the Kalamazoo area, there's 5 high schools, and there's several colleges, including our own KBCC, as well as Western Michigan College, which has a total undergrad enrollment of 17,051 people and is ranked 258 in national universities, according to an article from U.S. News and World Report. I bring this up because, according to studies conducted by researchers with Life Sciences, Society, and Policy, students who identify as a member of the LGBTQ community are more likely to be victims of violence and assaults while attending university. Duenas et al., 2021. Quote, "And violence towards LGBTI plus people can affect them for many years after the aggression occurs." Mawaria Garty and Walters, 2018. It has been reported that LGBTI plus people who are victimized are less likely to complete their studies and therefore have fewer jobs opportunities. Loggy et al., 2016. Furthermore, many gay, lesbian, and bisexual people feel the need to hide their sexual orientation to avoid experiences of discrimination in different social settings. Duenas et al., 2021. So yeah, there's a lot that this community has been going through for years. Now, another quote, "Sexual minorities are more likely than heterosexual people to experience mental health challenges that include depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts." Rutherford et al., 2019. Which makes sense, because if they're more likely to experience violence and discrimination, what do you think that's going to do to your mental health over time? In a study, participants rated their physical health higher than their mental health in general. 73% in this study reported good physical health, while only 43% reported being of good mental health as well. This meant that 31% of the participants had been considering suicide, and 6% had made an attempt in that year. In 2019, the Canadian Trans and Non-Binary Youth Health Survey, they found even higher numbers, bringing to light even more worrisome mental health issues. They reported that only 16% of their respondents claimed to be of sound mental health, while the majority, 88%, reported having chronic mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety. In the year 2019 alone, 64% of their respondents had thought about committing suicide, and 21% had actually attempted suicide that year. This means there is an increased challenge with mental health for young members of the LGBT community. Rutherford et al., 2019. So how many people have to take their own lives before we start to care and start to try to make a difference for those young people? So the goal and the vision of what Outfront Kalamazoo wants to do is to reach out and help those people. Quote, "Our purpose is to co-create an environment where you are free to be who you are, love who you love, and live without fear of discrimination, violence, or harassment based on your sexual orientation or gender identity. In addition to our program and services, we are a resource for news and personal stories from the front lines of the work towards LGBTQ+ equality." Another quote from their website, quote, "Outfront Kalamazoo provides programs and services for youth and adults such as peer support programs, social events, educational resources, and more. We also organize and mobilize individuals and organizations so that together we may advance social justice and achieve equality and inclusion for the LGBTQ+ community, Outfront Kalamazoo." So some of the resources on their website, they have way more than I even expected when I first started researching this group. They have COVID-19 resources, they have health resources, local job opportunities, therapy and counseling, suicide prevention, housing and homelessness, gender identity, community, legal, faith organizations and political organizations, entertainment, veteran services, senior services, and educational services. They also have two main events. They have the Kalamazoo Pride. Now, before I get into these events, I would also like to state that they have canceled these events, within the past year due to the COVID-19 outbreak, but they are hoping to, restart them again in the future or look towards virtual options. But normally, every June, they will have thousands of people come to Arcadia Creek to commemorate the Stonewall riots of 1969 in New York City. This two-day festival celebrates the ending of discrimination against the LGBTQ+ community in America thanks to the events of Stonewall. They also have their Winter Gala in January, which has been one of the largest LGBTQ+ events in the region, next to Pride, of course. For the past several winters, the community and our allies come together to celebrate the progress and recognize accomplishments made within our community for, the advancements of justice and equality. So what can you do to support Outfront? Of course, you can donate. They have a donation box right on their homepage. You can just click on that and it will have you go from there. But if you don't have the funds to, I'm a college student, I get that. I don't necessarily have the funds either. You can also volunteer. So you can do office work, you can help with daily operating, phone calls, entering data, other duties and such. You can also, if you don't have maybe like a regular time, you could do volunteer work for their events, the Pride and the Winter Gala that I mentioned. You'll just be kind of helping with setup and whatnot. You can also, you can sign up for any of that kind of volunteer work on their website, just outfrontkazoo.org. You can also spread the word, tweet, post on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, social media. Just spread the word. You can also support them. If you don't want to just donate, you want to get a little something in return for your, contribution. They have an amazing online store. They have some really cool shirts and hoodies and mugs that you can go to their website and buy some of their merch. And then you can also just give them a phone call and, just kind of ask about what they're all about. You can contact them at 269-349-4234. And thank you guys. I hope that you all make the choice to be more inclusive and support, the people who are in your community, no matter what their sexual orientation or gender identity is.